Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm bringing you guys Week 12 running back start or sit decisions for fantasy football in 2020. Inside of this video, we are going to be going over every single matchup from all of the Thanksgiving games on Thursday all the way till Monday Night Football. So if at any point, I would like to ask that if at any point inside this video you end up enjoying, you end up having a great time, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, because not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Week 12 running back start or sit decisions. We begin with the early Thanksgiving game, the one where you get up early, have some nice breakfast, and then this game is on. Texans at Lions. Now, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, this Thanksgiving Day slate sucks. Now, I'm not telling you these games are going to be uninteresting or something, because the Texans at the Lions could be an interesting game for football in the NFL. But on a matchups of games that have any relevance to anything, it's at about a complete and utter zero, except for Sunday Night Football between the goddamn Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The second game could also tell us who's going to win the NFC East, because between two teams there, the Cowboys against the football team, but no one wants to watch that. But back to the actual point of the fucking video, I digress. Texans at the Detroit Lions. And this one, if DeAndre Swift is to suit up, I would feel comfortable playing him in this matchup. But again, he's in the concussion protocol, got hurt later in the week, and this is a short week on Thanksgiving, the early Thanksgiving game. Do I think he's going to play? Personally, no. I would lean about the side of caution where DeAndre Swift does not play. If this was a Sunday game, I think he actually would suit up, but based on the fact that it's a Thursday night football game, or a Thursday, early morning Thursday game, I'm not going to assume DeAndre Swift plays, but if he somehow miraculously gets healthy and gets good to play, you have to play him up against the Texans defense that looked like burnt fucking toast. Now, last week, I was kind of beating the drum of Adrian Peterson in that matchup, and he did not do anything. It seemed like a cupcake matchup for the Detroit Lions and friends, and the whole team really did not do anything. They did not show up on Sunday, and Adrian Peterson scored a nice 1.9 PPR points, I believe, in that matchup. But here, he's got another cupcake matchup, and if DeAndre Swift was to miss, I would be very, very hard-pressed to see Adrian Peterson not play much better than he played last week. Now, for the Houston Texans, we have Duke Johnson, who's listed as a start, but he's got the tag next to him, because Duke Johnson has been having these great matchups the last couple of weeks and has done nothing with them, which is one of the most annoying things ever, because Duke Johnson is a kind of a player that has the mold of a guy that you would think would do pretty good in some of these matchups where it's not that hard of a matchup for the Texans, but instead, he's blowing your fucking back out because he's not doing anything for your fantasy team. So he's listed as a start, but if you have other options next to Duke Johnson, I'd probably lean the other way if it was anywhere near close. For sits, I'm going to be sitting down Kerryon Johnson. Kerryon Johnson actually played much better than Adrian Peterson in the matchup last week, but I expect it to be more favored with AP this week up against the Houston Texans. Next game, here we got the Washington football team at the Dallas Cowboys, the second Thanksgiving game, the 4 o'clock game. This one, again, screams absolute fucking snooze fest. But for the running back cores, it's actually pretty interesting. Antonio Gibson has been looking fly for fantasy football. This guy's been balling out every single Sunday, and now he's going to be balling out on a Thursday game here up against the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys defense actually looked pretty decent up against the Minnesota Vikings, but this is an NFC matchup. So was that one against the Vikings, you dumbass. An NFC East matchup that is going to involve a whole lot of running, and I think Antonio Gibson gets it done in this matchup. For the Dallas Cowboys, I like Ezekiel Elliott as well. He looked very good up against the Minnesota Vikings, and I expect him to continue to ramp that up here up against the Washington football team. The other Washington football team running back, J.D. McKissic, is kind of a start, and he's kind of not at the exact same time. He's a start if you're in a deeper kind of situation, but I don't feel as confident in him as I did before, because now it seems like Antonio Gibson is the clear running back one on this team. Before, we were seeing J.D. McKissic get like 7 fucking dump-offs a game, and that just hasn't been the narrative as of recently. Now, that could obviously change, so that's why he's listed as a start in this matchup. Is definitely juicy up against the Dallas Cowboys, but I don't love him as much as I loved him in weeks past. And for the Cowboys, unless Ezekiel Elliott is taking the big dirt nap 6 feet under the fucking ground, you are not playing everyone's favorite Tony Pollard. Now onto the final Thanksgiving game. Obviously, there's the Sunday games as well and the Monday games, so make sure you guys strap the fuck in and get ready to roll for this one. Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this matchup for running backs would have been a complete and utter pivot off of the Baltimore Ravens. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, as well as Mark Ingram. But J.K. Dobbins balled last week, but now he's bawling his eyes out because he's not going to be able to play in this game because the man has corona. Obviously, I hope that he's okay. I hope Mark Ingram is okay. But this backfield is as murky as it gets, except for last week where Dobbins got all the touches. The other two sat in the corner watching. But then what the Ravens do is they'll do that, right? You're thinking, oh, it's going to be the Dobbins show this week is what probably would have been the narrative had they not have gotten corona. Dobbins is going to go off. And then, I swear to you, Gus Edwards would have scored 4 touchdowns. Or like, no one would have done anything. That's just how the Ravens backfield works. But now, since everyone is with the Rona, Gus Bus Edwards is stepping into an excellent opportunity this week. Last week, Gus Edwards did nothing, but now he's jolted into the running back 1 position on the team. Sure, the Steelers' defense is definitely tough, but there's a lot worse options this week than Gus Bus Edwards. James Conner has been just about as average as it gets for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben has just been throwing so many goddamn touchdowns that they don't even need James Conner. But in what I believe will be a hard-fought win here between these two teams, I think James Conner will have to get much more involved in this matchup, thus elevating him to be a start this week. The other Raven, Justice Hill, who really hasn't shown anything in his career, could get a lot of touches in this game, obviously, because J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram are not there, so I don't expect him to do nothing, but I don't think he's going to do enough to be worthy of a start, and Benny Snell is pretty much useless, unless James Conner's hurt, because if you start him, you're just hoping for a random-ass touchdown that he ends up scoring. Now on to the Sunday slate of games. We begin with the Miami Dolphins at the New York Football Jets. I'm a Dolphins fan. I got the hat on. I got Dan Marino watching in the back. Tua Tagovailoa jersey in the closet. And the Dolphins made me sad in the pants. I was rock solid, Viagra'd up, ready to roll on Sunday. I thought the Dolphins, in reality, I actually think I said that I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos somehow won. But man, that was not a good game for the Dolphins. This is the game of Tua's career against the easiest team he's ever played against. If Tua faults in this game, if he fails again, I will not be happy. I will be pissed off, and I will declare the Dolphins as frauds if they lose to the Jets. And as a Dolphins fan, this screams, if we beat the Denver Broncos, we would have lost this game 100%. This game is the ultimate trap team for any AFC East team. The Bills could lose to the Jets. The Dolphins could lose to the Jets. The Patriots could lose to the Jets. I think the Patriots have already played them 2 times. But with that said, that's the ultimate team you just lose to. The worst team ever in our division, and they get smacked. With that said, nothing to do with running backs. Salvon Ahmed looks like a start in this matchup. Played pretty well in Sunday's game up against the Denver Broncos. Did end up getting banged up, but returned later in the game and looked pretty good. So if he does end up being healthy, and Gaskin is going to be missing. Now, if Gaskin plays, obviously, this all goes out the window. But I'm not too sure about Gaskin's health. So if Gaskin ends up playing, then you sit him med, you play Gaskin. If not, Salvon Ahmed will be the starter for this week up against the New York Football Jets. Balaj, when he was healthy last week up against the Jets, looked pretty good in that matchup. So it's definitely a cupcake matchup for Mr. Ahmed. For the Jets, Frank Gore is actually going to be a start for me if LaMichael Pirine ends up missing. Now, if LaMichael Pirine ends up playing, I would actually buoy it on the side of caution and just sit both of the motherfuckers. The Dolphins' defense looked like shit against the run last week. I will be completely honest with you. But that's because they were running up against Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay. Here, they're playing against Frank Gore and LaMichael Pirine. I don't see any way these motherfuckers run for 7 million yards like they did last week against the Dolphins. So I'm not too worried about it. But if just Frank Gore plays, he'll be the one getting a majority of the carries. I can feel comfortable starting him. If not, I'm going to pivot off of these Jets running backs if LaMichael Pirine ends up suiting up. Now to the next game, Cardinals at the Patriots. If you guys have ended up enjoying this video thus far, please make sure that you guys, if you're new, hit that subscribe button down below. And if you are not new, you've been watching for a while, you're like, hey, I know this asshole. I watch him every day. I watch him every couple of days. Please make sure to hit that like button. Cardinals at the Patriots. Now, this matchup screams to me where I want to start all these running backs, but they're all going to do nothing. That is my genuine assessment of this game. Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds looked very good up against the Seattle Seahawks defense, but the Seattle Seahawks run defense is ass. The Patriots run defense is also ass, so I actually think you can start both of them in this matchup, but for some reason, there's just bad vibes shooting at me through this game. Kenyon Drake looked very good. Edmonds looked very good, so I will feel comfortable starting both of them until one of them completely overtakes the other one in snap count or something, but that's not going to end up happening because even if Edmonds is touching the ball less, he still does good enough to be worthy of a start on a weekly basis, so I like both of the Carolina Panthers running backs, the Arizona Cardinals running backs, and Kenyon Drake, as well as Chase Edmonds. Now, sadly, sexy Rex Burkhead ended up getting hurt for the New England Patriots. What does that mean? Now, is it James White season officially? I was going into this season praising the heavens of James White. I was singing the James White gospel back here. I was screaming like a fucking gospel pastor. I was doing the dancey dance for James White. But James White, all he did was the dance with the dick in his pants because he shoved it up my ass every single week, and I did not like it. He didn't use an ounce of lube, and he was awful. Downright atrocious. But this week, up against the Arizona Cardinals, after Edmonds went down last week for the Patriots, not Evans. Burkhead, I read his name on the screen. Rex Burkhead went down. White looked really good. He was getting a lot of dump-offs. Does that continue? I hope so. Damian Harris, the safer option on this team. Harris is getting the ball a zillion times. He's scoring touchdowns, getting over 100-plus yards. You know what that means? That is the key to success. The only thing with Damian Harris's game that is an issue is actually his efficiency in the receiving game. I think last week was the first reception he's gotten all fucking season because I've never even seen Cam Newton dump the ball his way. That's James White's job. So that obviously limits Damian Harris's upside, but he also seems to be finding the end zone a lot. So I like Damian Harris as well as James White, Kenyon Drake, and Chase Edmonds all in this matchup. Next matchup here, we got the Carolina Panthers, the actual Panthers, at the Minnesota Vikings. And in this one, I like Mike Davis. Now, Mike Davis was a guy that I was really teetering back on last week. I was like, Mike Davis looked really good early in the season after CMC went down, and then slowly carouseled back down, and then he fucking arose like my cock in the morning last week and pivoted up there and was a good running back again. Will that happen again up against the Minnesota Vikings? I think so. We saw Ezekiel Elliott look effective last week up against the Vikings. I think Davis does the same thing. Dalvin Cook is a lock and loaded running back that you throw into your fucking roster. Even when he has down games, you cannot sit this man. The Panthers defense is burnt fucking cheese. Dalvin Cook is going to make them look like Swiss cheese with all the holes in there, and he is going to look good in this matchup. I love Dalvin up against the Carolina Panthers with Teddy Two Gloves. Maybe? I think so, to be honest with you, because the narrative going into the last game was actually that Teddy Bridgewater was going to end up suiting up in that matchup up against the Lions. And then last second, they were like, fuck it, we're going to go with the XFL kid, PJ Walker. Not a kid, the guy's older than me. He's fucking making millions of dollars. He's a god. I love PJ Walker. Forgot his name. But PJ Walker, good player. Even if he played against the Vikings, I'd be very confident in Mike Davis. For the sits, I'm sitting down Mr. Alexander Mattison, because unless Dalvin Cook is dead, 6 feet under, taking the big dirt nap, I'm not starting Alexander Mattison. Now, it is appearing that run CMC Christian McCaffrey is not going to be making his triumphant return in this matchup, so that's why he's not listed on the screen, because it said, when I looked it up, he is unlikely to play. What you would like to have seen is the been deleted. Next part of the video, next teams, Browns at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Nick Chubb on Sunday, this motherfucker wasn't wearing gloves. He wasn't wearing any wrap on his arms. He was looking like a vintage fucking running back. The only thing he was missing was that weird-ass leather helmet that they used to wear back in the day. The man even had his knuckles taped up to show the Philadelphia defense how many knuckles deep he was going to go in their fucking ass. Nick Chubb balled out. Kareem Hunt didn't ball out, but looked good. Both of these running backs are must-starts on a weekly basis, especially in the soft serve matchups up against the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. I love Chubb, and I love Hunt. We saw the Steelers rout the Jaguars last week. Maybe this is the return of Gardner, the mustache man, Minshew. James Robinson, regardless of what's happening, does his little dance. He moseys on and just scores like 10-plus PPR points. The guy's just a lock for greatness. Makes no sense that James Robinson is this good. The O-line isn't that good. James Robinson, built different. The Browns defense is scary, like Terry McLaurin. I am spooked of that defense, but James Robinson is good enough to get worthy of the nod to start. Dare Agabawale, I believe is how you actually say his name. That's what I used to call him, because his name looks like a bunch of gibberish. But with that said, no disrespect to Dare Agabawale, or however you say your last name. I apologize to you, Dare, if you're watching this video. Much respect former Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back who actually, if you were playing fantasy football last year, just ruined the Bucs backfield because he would randomly have a good game as well. It's kind of like what the Bucs backfield is like now, and we will get to that a little bit later. Next matchup here, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts, the remix of what happened a couple of weeks ago in this game on Thursday Night Football. In that matchup, we saw the Tennessee Titans lay it on in the first half of the game. I thought Phillip Rivers was going to die in that matchup. But then, magically, in the second half of the game, they snorted some coke. They did some smelling salts or something because the Colts were fired up and the Titans were deflated like a football in New England. It was unreal. But with that said, different week, different game. This isn't a short week Thursday Night Football. This is Sunday football in the middle of the day. I like Derrick Henry in this matchup. Derrick Henry did not look all that good the first time these two teams played. And that is partly because the Colts defense is good, and it was because Derrick Henry was kind of in a slump. But Derrick Henry is out of that slump. Last week up against the Baltimore Ravens, this motherfucker's game-winning touchdown in overtime. He ran to the right off the line, and then he hooked left, and then went like this, and then went to the right. So he formed a legitimate L with his rush. I tweeted it out. It's the funniest thing ever. He formed an L and gave the Baltimore Ravens an L in that matchup. Derrick Henry is back. And I think he is going to play big here up against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Colts running back core, this screams of Nick, you dumbass, run away. Run the fuck away. Before the game, they say Nyheim Hines is the starter. Then Nyheim Hines is the starter. Maybe he gets banged up or something. I don't know. Just wasn't getting as many touches later in the game. Jonathan Taylor was red hot like a red fucking rocket named Andy Dalton. He was balling out up against the Green Bay Packers. So I will start Jonathan Taylor. We all have hated on Jonathan Taylor. We have all thrown Jonathan Taylor's name out the goddamn window. What do we do with Jonathan Taylor now? You start him. The Titans defense fucking sucks. Sucks against the run. Dobbins looked good against them last week. I'm starting Taylor. I'm going to start him, but I feel like this one just screams to me, Nick, you are so wrong. He's not going to do anything. You have fallen back into the trap. But everything I saw on Sunday tells me that I have to play him and that he's going to have a good game. Let me know what you guys think about this Colts backfield. I'm going to be sitting down Nyheim Hines as well as Jordan Wilkins because if Taylor's the one getting the touches, then they won't be very useful. Next game here, we got the New York Football Giants at the Cincinnati Bengals. And Wayne Gallman is low-key one of my favorite running back starts of the week. The Bengals are dead. Dead as can be with no chance of resurrection. You want to know why? Because Joe Burrow tore his ACL. Now, I am not one to joke about someone who tears their ACL. Now, I want Tua to win Rookie of the Year. I don't think he's going to be able to win it at this point. But, sadly, Joe Burrow, one of the other rookies, the first pick in the NFL draft, goes down for the Bengals. That fucking sucks, and I felt for it. I saw Joe Burrow's face. He was like, God damn it. I pray to the fantasy lords, to the football gods, that he has a speedy recovery. I like Joe Burrow. He was the guy that I wanted the Dolphins to draft, but obviously, that was impossible because we weren't the number one pick, but I like Joe Burrow a lot. I thought he was a talented quarterback at LSU. Thought he looked good in the NFL. He'll be back. Now against the Giants, I like Giovanni Bernard. Giovanni Bernard, everyone's favorite Italiano running back. Giovanni Bernard didn't look great last week. Just didn't. This matchup against the Giants is amazing. Finley will dump it off to him. He'll get enough opportunity to be worthy of a start, but I'm not calling for like a top 15, top 10-ish start. Probably just a top 20 guy. Wayne Gallman, though, I am excited. I am Cialis hard right now, just thinking about it underneath the table about Wayne Gallman. Gallman has been balling as of recently. This Bengals defense is shit. They're going to be up in this game, the Giants, so the Giants are going to be able to run. Wayne Gallman has looked very, very good in the red zone. He's looked very good driving up the field. He's looked good receiving the ball. He's looked good doing every aspect that a running back needs. I would not be surprised if Wayne Gallman was a top 10 running back this week at all. I love Gallman. I'm going to be fucking banging my chest for Wayne Gallman all week long. You guys will see it later in the running back rankings. He's going to be way too high, like Elon Musk. So high, stars eat our dust, and I got a colorful aura like I'm Elon Musk, I believe is what Lil Uzi said in that song. Wayne Gallman, I love him this week. Please don't disappoint me, Mr. Gallman. Samaje Perine, other running back for the Bengals, don't like him that much. Seems like a touchdown vulture kind of player that I don't want anything to do with. Shout out to Samaje Perine, though, because this guy was goated back when he was on the Washington football team for fantasy football. If you guys have been playing for a while, You know about fucking Samaje P. Ryan because he was one of those sneaky beaky starts that you just randomly started one week and the motherfucker caught like 10 passes. He's built different. Next matchup here, we got the Chargers at the Buffalo Bills. Two good quarterbacks and two teams with a lot of running backs. We have Kalen Ballage listed as a start now. I believe he actually would have went balls deep in the Jets had he not have gotten hurt in that game. He did return and he played well in the matchup. He would have played very, very good. In this matchup up against the Bills run defense just has looked suspect this season. Started off strong, then not so much. Still hasn't looked that good. So, I don't love Ballage, but I'm going to start him again since he gets a lot of touches. Joshua Kelly just seems like the next guy up. Ballage gets hurt, Kelly goes in. If not, Kelly's irrelevant. I like Ballage a decent amount. Kelly, I don't like at all. For the Bills, this is what I explain it to be every week. I will just explain it again. Unless Moss is hurt, unless Singletary is hurt, you can't start a single one of these motherfuckers. This matchup against the Chargers is cupcake. Would I be surprised if both these guys balled out? No. Would I be surprised if either of them balled out? Yes. Or no. Would I be surprised if neither of them did good? No. This backfield is so fucking confusing. I have no idea what to think about it when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen. They're going to steal rushing touchdowns. Then that limits Moss. It limits Singletary. And then when they're both in the backfield at the same time, it fucks everything up. They're a parasitic backfield. Do not start either. If I was to start one, though, it would be the guy with 4 letters in his last name and in his first name, Zach Moss. Next matchup here, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Atlanta Falcons. Now, last week, someone told me not to start Todd Gurley, and I was like, you know what, motherfucker? I'm not scared. I'm going to play him anyways. That was wrong. That was wrong. And I will admit when I'm wrong. The Atlanta Falcons got fucked. And they got fucked not where it's like with an F. They got fucked where it's like P-H-U-C-K-E-D. They got fucked like that. It was a bad news Bears matchup. They got destroyed. The Raiders defense doesn't look good. The Raiders do look like a good team that'll be able to keep up though. I like Gurley in this matchup. I think he has a bounce back game. Jacobs looks good up against the Chiefs. He's going to look good up against an even worse defense in the Atlanta Falcons. For the Raiders, Devontae Booker, maybe we bought a little too much into Devontae Booker. I didn't love him. I didn't hate him last week, but he didn't do anything. The weeks before, he looked good. This does scream bounce-back game for him as well, because the Falcons' defense is so bad, but I'm not going to test it again this week. Next matchup here, we got the 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams, and this may be the return of what some dub him as Colonel Mostert. I just call him Raheem Mostert. Mostart. Good running back. Very good. One of the fastest running backs in the NFL. If he plays in this matchup up against the Rams, I like him. Now, the Rams on Monday Night Football looked very good against the run. Ronald Jones was shut down. Fournette was shut down. So that does worry him. But Raheem Mostert is just one of those motherfuckers where it just takes literally one touch for this man to go from their 10-yard line to the end zone. It's all it takes. He's just built different like that. He's fast as fuck. If he plays, then you play him. If Mostert misses, you play Jerick McKinnon, but you lean back when you do it because you don't want to feel ultra confident in it. You don't want to jam him in your lineup without the use of any lube. You want to make sure you have the guys surrounding him that are good, and you have better surrounding pieces. Just don't start Jerick McKinnon. For the Rams, what Monday Night Football showed me is that Cam Akers is back, but now I don't trust anyone. Now, this is just like with the Bills. It is a parasitic backfield. You can't trust any of these guys now, in my opinion, unless one was to go down or unless Akers just emerges and is getting all the touches every single game. In that case, then Akers would be a start. But here, Henderson, Brown, Akers are all sitting on the pine for me. If I had to start one, gun to the fucking dome, I'm starting Darrell Henderson. But in reality, I'm trying to stay away from this matchup. Next matchup here, we got the New Orleans Saints and Taysom Hill at the Broncos. Now. Alvin Kamara, in my opinion, actually, based on what I saw on Sunday, does get limited by Taysom Hill at the quarterback position. Had the W-eater, famous Jameis Winston, started, I actually would have liked Alvin Kamara more. In this situation, though, Alvin Kamara was still fine. Still did good. So I'm not saying that, Alvin Kamara fucking sucks now, Taysom Hill starting. No. That's not true at all. But he's not as good. In my opinion, his upside is more limited. Because when they're on the goal line, the goal line, they can run with Hill. They can run with Kamara. They even tried to do some crazy shit where they tried to go, I think it's wild. Yeah, they would try to go fucking wildcat. like Troy Bolton. And they snapped it to Kamara. Kamara walked like 2 feet, and he just got bombarded. The wall collapsed in front of him, and he got bombarded by other fucking men trying to kill him. Alvin Kamara, though, I like him in this matchup up against the Broncos. Had the Dolphins not have called such a shitty game, Chan Gailey, you dumb motherfucker, I think Ahmed would have scored way more points. I think Kamara, the other guy with the K, Ahmed, his name starts with a fucking A. Salvin Ahmed, built different. I like him. Alvin Kamara, built even more different. I like him against the Broncos. For the Broncos, we saw Gordon score last week, and then we saw Gordon almost score, and then Van Ginkel said, yeah, yeet, and fucking slapped that thing right out of his hand. He fumbled. Melvin Gordon, if you guys are Chargers fans, that probably hit so, like, it probably gave you PTSD or something, because if you guys remember a couple years ago, Melvin Gordon had the most cake fucking touchdown, and it fumbled again on the 1-yard line. You hate to see it for Melvin Gordon. Him and Lindsey are the same case with the Buffalo Bills. When one of them is out, the other one's going to do good. If not, none of them do good, or one of them does good, maybe both of them will do good. It's just such a confusing situation to lean for in Denver, so I'm just staying away from both of these guys in this matchup, Lindsey and Melvin Gordon. Next matchup here, we got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, luckily, this isn't prime time, because if you know, you know, Tom Brady is 0-9 in his last 9 primetime matches. That doesn't sound very good, does it? Fucking Tampa Bay, Tom Brady is a fraud in primetime, but this game's not primetime. With that said, CEH Clyde Edwards-Helaire did very good last week. He did. He looked good up against the Raiders. Should look fine here against the Buccaneers, but the Bucs defense did look good up against the run against the Rams on Monday Night Football yesterday. Now, what did I see from this Buccaneers offense? I was beating the drum for Ronald Jones. And I said it in the videos. I'm like 100% sure, and I know I said it in the live stream. This game screams Ronald Jones, so it's going to be Leonard Fournette. That is what happens. When you think this is going to be a Jones game, it's a Fournette game. When you think it's going to be a Fournette game, it's a Jones game. It is a tipsy-turvy hell in Tampa Bay. Bruce Arians can suck my fucking cock. I'm just kidding. I like you, Bruce Arians. If I met you, I'd shake your hand. But in reality, you motherfucker, Bruce Arians, because Fournette, or Ronald Jones drops a pass early in the game, right? And then he's nowhere to be seen. Jones is just missing, like the fucking cartel got to him. Leonard Fournette, this motherfucker, drops like 8 passes in a row. Bruce Arians just fucking slaps his ass. Go back in the game. What the fuck are you doing, Bruce Arians? I'm sorry that I just got really angry, but what the fuck is happening? Makes no sense. Fuck you, Bruce Arians, for that. And you look stupid wearing that stupid fucking hat. You motherfucker. I hope you guys understand when I get angry at these players. In reality, it's a joke. I would never go out there and tell Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette or Bruce Arians, like I would never go out on Twitter and tweet some shit like that. If you guys lose your fantasy matchup, please don't tweet at the player on your team, hey, fuck you, at Tyreek Hill or something. Don't do that. He doesn't deserve that. He's just playing football, trying to win the game as a team. But Bruce Arians has failed to win the game as a team on these primetime matchups, so fuck you, and fuck Tom Brady especially. I hate Tom Brady. Le'Veon Bell, not worthy of a start. I don't know why the Chiefs added Le'Veon Bell, except for the fact that they were like, you know what, other teams might add Le'Veon Bell, so we'll just get him. That's honestly what I believe happened. Next matchup here, we got Sunday Night Football between the Chi-Town Bears at the Green Bay Packers. And the San Francisco, I read SNF, I read SF, Sunday Night Football. Bears at Packers. Again, these primetime games suck ass this week. The game we talk about next, you probably know what it is if you look at the schedule. It's even worse than this. It seems as though David Montgomery will be playing in this matchup for the Bears. So if he plays, I'll play him. The Packers' run defense doesn't look amazing. We saw the Indianapolis Colts look good against them last week, so I'll fire up David Montgomery. But don't fire him up to think he's a top 10 running back or top 20 running back. He's just a guy that if you need to start him, you fucking play him. If not, I'm not looking to play him at all, to be honest with you. Coming off an injury, I don't love it. The usage he gets is just unbelievably bad. For some reason, Matt Nagy, like Cordell Patterson just must have something on him. Just has to. He doesn't deserve to get any touches. Makes no sense. I don't even want to talk about it because that also makes me angry. Matt Nagy is an idiot. loses play calling ability, gives it to someone else, then he takes it back. Actually, I don't know if he took it back. Adam Gase took it back. He didn't take it back. It looks like the same shit, different coach calling the plays was what it looked like the last time these teams played, or the last time the Bears played, because they had a bye last week. Is Foles going to play? The guy got carted off. How can he possibly play this week? He may. Trubisky could play. Either way, if David Montgomery's just an all-right start. Nothing amazing, nothing terrible. Aaron Jones, great player. Bears defense is all right. Above all right, really. Pretty good, but I think Aaron Jones will be able to get it done. And Jamal Williams has been sneaky pretty good, so if you're in a super deep league, actually, Jamal Williams is definitely worthy of a look this week up against the Bears. And final game of the week, drum roll. You already saw it on the screen. Never mind. Drum roll, please. Seahawks at Eagles. Great matchup, right, guys? The NFL scheduling, it always looks good at the beginning of the year, right? You're like, damn, the Seahawks at Eagles. Remember last time these two teams played in the playoffs last year? When Wentz got hurt again, because Wentz always gets hurt, because Wentz, I hate Carson Wentz as well. Knock on wood, hopefully he doesn't get hurt. But man, that guy looks bad. He looks like a tragedy to the NFL. On Monday night, if you watch this game, you shouldn't, but obviously you will, right? We all like fucking football. We're all going to watch. I watch every game, right? I never understood the people who are like, I'm not going to watch this game. I'll watch the Jets play up against the fucking Clemson Tigers. I don't care. As long as there's an NFL team playing the game, I love the NFL. That's why I make these videos, and I also love you guys. Thank you guys all so much for the support you guys have been showing. Seahawks at Eagles, though. Carson, if he plays, I love him in this matchup. The Eagles are toast. The offense is unsynchronized. It's like when in fucking Toy Story, when Woody, no, it's Buzz. When in the first one, if you guys remember, Buzz, I know this makes no sense because it's a football video, but Buzz goes from speaking English to Spanish. That's what the Eagles offense looked like. The beginning of the year, they were speaking English. And then he started speaking Spanish, and then everyone got so confused around him, and they had to like reroute him. Maybe they'll be able to re-put the English back in Carson Wentz, who's now speaking Spanish. Azul 42. Set down hut. Azul, I believe, is blue. 42. Blue 42. Set down hut. But Chris Carson, that made no sense. But Chris Carson, not liking this matchup if he does end up playing. Yeah, there's nothing really to say about it. The Seahawks offense is good. No matter which running back starts, they'll be good. So if Carson plays, then you start him. If not, Carlos Hyde looked good last week up against Arizona. You play him if Carson misses. Eagles, Sanders hasn't looked great. Very talented player. Seahawks defense sucks against the run. You play Miles Sanders. And then Boston Scott, you don't play him unless Sanders is hurt. So you're going to be sitting Boston Scott because Miles Sanders seems to be healthy. And this has to be the Miles Sanders bounce back game because he looks way too good out there to not be scoring fantasy points. So thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know we went off the rails at a couple points in this video. It's 2 in the morning as I'm recording this. I'm actually fired the fuck up to make this video. I've been doing schoolwork all day, and talking about football is my favorite thing. That's why I do this stuff, obviously. So I hope you guys did end up enjoying. Sorry if I went on like those tangents and started sounding like a dumbass when I'm yelling about Bruce Arians again. I don't actually hate Bruce Arians. I like every player in the NFL, unless they do something terrible. But with that said, thank you guys all for watching. Go Dolphins. If you guys don't like the Dolphins, that's fine as well. Go whatever team you like, unless you like the Jets, because fuck the Jets. But I respect you if you like the Jets, so thank you for watching. My own father likes the Jets. Thank you guys all for watching. I love you all. I hope you guys had a great time. Come back later for the wide receiver video later today. And make sure if you guys need help on your waiver wire, check out yesterday's video. I love you all. Make sure you guys have a great day. Peace out, motherfuckers. Good boy.